It's time for NFL Overreaction or reality. NFL Overreaction or reality. I should definitely stop getting my hopes up and just accept the fact that the Cowboys will never be a team that doesn't get a lot of penalties. We've heard week after week after week. We're working on it. Feel like it's getting better. It's not. 11 penalties accepted for 87 yards. Last game, they had 11 in the first three quarters. So NFL Overreaction or reality, just accept the Cowboys, for at least the rest of the season, are going to get lots and lots of penalties.
Kevin, that first one on the opening play of the game was, I was like, not again. No, we can't do this again tonight.
There were multiple, think about it. That play to start off that I just assumed was against us. The one where the fact that the Cowboys had two different plays with multiple penalties on the same play. The fact that Brock Hoffman got a penalty on his first or second snap of the year, it's mind-boggling, but I guess it shouldn't be. So NFL Overreaction or reality, that's just the way it is. Deal with it.
Overreaction.
Okay.
You got to be a disciplined team, though.
Why?
To do that. What do you mean, why?
We won 36 games in the last 3 years. I don't know if you heard that.
But in order to be the kind of team that you want them to be, a not so heavily penalized team, you have to be more disciplined. But I don't think you just have to accept that they're going to be that way, Kevin.
Okay. NFL Overreaction or reality. You get concerned and perhaps a little bit embarrassed for players who continually hold their fist up for fourth down when the player clearly got a first down. Now, I realize...
Happened to your favorite player last night.
I know. I realize we all have the advantage of, if you're watching it on TV, you can see the yellow line, or maybe you have a better view of the chains. But, surely you know going into it, it's third and half a yard. Well, that person broke through the first line and crossed over a couple of yard lines. And then every time, players immediately rush in and hold their fist up. And I'm like, they got the first down. They clearly got the first down.
Happens on the goal line all the time, too.
Oh, yeah.
Where everybody will hold their hands up, touchdown, all the offensive linemen are like, yeah, we did enough. And then on fumbles, everybody thinks their guy got the fumble.
Oh, yeah.
Just like last night. We knew Carl Lawson had it. How did he not have it?
See, man, those are the three football behaviors. The DBs who wave their arms when they had nothing to do with the reason it wasn't completed, and the person who I'm like, there's no way you could see who has that football. And he's like, yeah, the offensive lineman, there's 8 people in between him and the ball, and he's like, yep, we got it.
Yeah. I also love when the entire sideline is signaling catch, and the referee's like, come on, guys. Y'all know that wasn't a catch. Incomplete pass.
Do you think there's a study out there that say which refs are most susceptible to peer pressure?
Yes.
So if you really...
No, I do. I do think, not that there's a study, but I do think they kind of keep an eye on certain things, and they got to be telling each other, no, hey, dude, this dude always, whenever this happens, I think there's definitely some politicking that goes on in sports.
NFL Overreaction or reality. This one's going to be a little tough. The Washington Commanders are a savvy bet as a Super Bowl long shot. Now, before this weekend, the Washington Commanders were 50-1 to win the Super Bowl. They have now dropped to 30-1, and Jaden Daniels looks freaking incredible. NFL Overreaction or reality at 30-1. That is a good bet on the Commanders.
It is a good bet. 50-1 was a better bet.
That is true.
And I don't know that it's all smoke and mirrors with this team because Jaden Daniels is playing the quarterback position.
Yeah.
He's delivering big-time throws, and as we discussed last week, he escapes more than he runs. He escapes pressure. He escapes a pocket that's collapsed and then survives for the next play. He doesn't try and say, I'm going to be a hero on every play. He just plays within what the system is. And as you saw with Jordan Schultz also said this, Kevin, no player in NFL history has ever had 1,000-plus passing yards and 250-plus rushing yards in their first 5 games until Jaden Daniels. You are witnessing a superstar being made right now. And if he could have just connected with Terry McLaurin on that one,
No, I don't want them to be better.
the fantasy team would have benefited.
NFL overreaction or reality. Alec, I'm going to give you a shot to start this one. Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, it makes no difference. The Raiders are screwed.
That is a reality because it seems like you have the head coach that's kind of questioning some of the guys on his own team, making the business decisions. We've talked about that quote a million times, and that still sticks with me. Their number one player, arguably, and Devontae Adams wants out of there. So it feels like that none of these outside factors are going to help that because I just don't think there's an overall sense of confidence in that group that they can be anything. And I think that is reflecting on the quarterback play because I didn't think Minshew was going to be bad. I didn't think he was going to be great. I thought he was going to, maybe bus drive them to a couple of wins that you would be like, they did it. Cool. But up to this point, it has been bad. Aiden O'Connell, I don't think is going to be an NFL quarterback. He's an NFL clipboard holder. I'm cool with that. And I think he's a great clipboard holder at that. But I don't think it matters. I think this team is just morally shot already, which is weird because it felt like the head coach, Antonio Pierce, was supposed to be the moral victory of the offseason, and I don't think he's really doing that.
Now, since he mentioned Devontae Adams, Corey, I'm going to pivot. The Jets were close, but for a second straight week, it did not look great offensively. Do you trade a day 2 pick and maybe more to go get Devontae Adams for the Jets?
Overreaction.
Okay.
Because I don't think the quarterback in Devontae Adams would even work for the way the quarterback's playing.
Interesting.
I said this last week, Kevin. I think even if they went and got Devontae Adams would be like, you're not the same quarterback I remember.
Damn true.
And there might be a moment where Aaron Rodgers goes, you're not the same receiver I remember. You're not as fast as I thought you were. And Devontae Adams would then look back at him and say, doesn't matter how fast I am, you can't overthrow me anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then there would be a feud between them, and then that it would just be the Jets happening as the Jets do. So, no, I don't think they should do it.
Now, this might sound harsh, but NFL overreaction or reality, short of a time machine, the Cleveland Browns are screwed for the next 2.5 seasons. All right, because people keep talking about Deshaun Watson getting benched and everything like that, and that's all fine and well. His cap hit the next 2 years is $72.9 million per season.
The discussion of you're paying the NFL is paying quarterbacks that haven't done anything is a real discussion. And I mean, if you want to have that conversation about Dak, that's perfectly well-balanced conversation that you can sit down and have. But this is another reality where if you mess that up for 5 years, your team's screwed for a while.
Yeah.
The same thing happened in the NBA. If you mess up your draft picks, your team might be screwed for a long time. So in the NFL, I think you got to be very smart and really have a good understanding and that your scouting department knows what they're talking about when they're projecting a quarterback.
NFL overreaction or reality, despite 2 straight losses, the Buffalo Bills will win the AFC East by multiple games.
Who's competing? No, yeah, you're right. That's
the
reality.
thing. I just don't really see it.
If the Dolphins had a quarterback, I might be able to jump in that conversation because they are a complete team almost everywhere but their offensive line and their quarterback. And then I guess Jalen Phillips got hurt again. That dude, he can't catch a break to save his life. So, yeah, Miami can't compete with them. The Jets are falling apart, and the Patriots aren't going to be able to do it either. So I do agree that that's where you'll see with the Bills.
NFL overreaction or reality. I want to get both of y'all's thoughts on this one. I don't think this is going to be the answer, especially what you saw from Dowdle. I'm just going to throw it out there. The Cowboys will trade for a running back before we reach the trade deadline.
Overreaction.
Okay.
I don't feel like they want. Let's assume that they're recalibrating.
Yes.
Or soft rebuilding. Giving up draft capital would take away from that for the now. And that they're more worried about, I think, Kevin, if this is a real thing, staying competitive, being around the rim, as they say, giving themselves a shot. in the playoffs to do something, being good enough to be there, but they're also not willing to give up the capital that it takes for a couple of years from now to be better. So I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to sit tight on what they have and hope that it's good enough to get by.
I'm going to say reality, because I don't think when you propose that question, it has to be a headliner move. It has to be a household name.
Fair.
Because I know that there's probably people in the building that wouldn't be happy hearing this, but I think it could be like a Brandon Cooks situation where I think at the trade deadline, they could say, look, it's a good player. He could help someone. He's not helping us. So let's go ahead and try to get something out of that and see what happens. I think there's plenty of teams that probably have a running back committee where they're like, hey, this dude's good. Doesn't really play for us. May as well go ahead and try to get a 6th-round pick out of him or something, just so we can say that we got value one way or another. So then you get someone to add to the mix, because Deuce Vaughn was inactive yesterday for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, that should be very telling of what they think about their running back room right now. But that also shows...
Or they need depth at defensive line.
Sure.
Like that's...
And you could see, and I heard Broadus talking about it in the pregame yesterday about carrying the extra linebackers. Chrissy Scales was kind of hinting at that, and look, he ended up needing it because Marshawn Nealon went down, so that was a great call by the team. But at the same time, it could also be foreshadowing that they think that Rico Dowdle is going to be that guy, and to his credit, he kind of showed that yesterday, that he could be the bell cow. So I still say reality. I don't know if it's even going to be a starting caliber running back, but I think they'll add.
And then one more really quick one for y'all. NFL overreaction or reality, the 49ers are in a lot of trouble.
Overreaction. That was, though, Brock Purdy's best offensive first half that we've seen in a while, and then he sputtered out in the second half. Jordan Mason fumble, that little fumble right there and a recovery by San Francisco. You're today going, okay, that's back to what San Francisco is, but that was bad for them. They're in a bad situation, but they still have the talent to get out of it.
I think they're in trouble. I think this is reality. And it's because Purdy isn't that elite quarterback that can power through those things. He's a really good quarterback. And like Corey just said, look, he had a fantastic half of football, and really overall most of the game, he looked really good. They still couldn't put it together. Without Christian McCaffrey, that thing needs some WD-40 as quick as they can get it. That thing is not fun to watch right now.
I will say, though, their schedule, the rest of their schedule is not easy by any means, with the Seahawks, who are chumps. I mean, they lost to the Giants.
Dang.
The Chiefs, Cowboys, Buccaneers, Packers, and Bills all slated as well on that.
And I want you to all consider, did Alex say WWE 40?
No, that is not true.
WD 40.
I heard WWE 40.